Game's like, holy crap, what's going on right now? We made $1 million just from deleting the entire zoo. Hello and welcome back to Sarah's Spare Corner. My name is Sarah. I am the host of Sarah's Spare Corner. Sarah's Spare Corner encompasses gaming as well as arts, crafts, and various different forms of creativity. Additionally, I like sharing theories, concepts, and ideas as I am a philosophy major, and when I'm not bored, I might travel places, and I might post about it. We are finally reviewing some Planet Zoo footage that I had taken recently. Now, some of this was accumulation of several days because of the fact that my thought was when I started this, I was, you know what, there's some things in the zoo that I just need to rearrange, just need to fix, make it look a little bit more attractive. And then there were some things I went in, like these little cave pieces. I put them down, didn't like them, came back to it later. So there is several different things that I do in this footage here, which some of it's, I should probably fix the fact that this is mud going up the rock formation. Probably should change that to rock. And then I actually added in rock. And then some of it was also, I got to make sure that the cougars can't climb that because that could be dangerous. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I would really like to make sure that some of our animals are getting more attention. So the first thing I thought I would start with is rebuilding up the path system that we had previously made, which was with these glass pieces, which was a blueprint that I made, and I thought it would be nice to finally connect them all, bring them into a cave. And this weird area here where it was like a 3-point turn was a little bit more difficult because the elevations were different with these glass pieces. So even though on one level it might have been pretty level with the other parts of the zoo, the other portions not so much. Every time I do these voiceovers, I always end up yawning. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, so because of this, I'm like, okay, well, I should probably remove those sticks, get rid of that. And I'm like, I'll come back in and I'll make sure that the glass actually, they go further in the ground because I don't want the animals to possibly escape. Because sometimes the babies are really small. And then I was like, I should probably fix the placement of some of these so that they're a little bit more attractive. I'm like, it doesn't make sense that we have certain balls here and there and etc. etc. So these are me just making sure that things are placed properly and the glass pieces are pulled over the other glass pieces at a proper level, which again, because I have a very weird pathing system of a 4-point angle, I'm like, this has to be put down oddly enough. And I remember the last time I did this, I was like thinking about how many hours it took. I was like, oh my god, this took over 24 hours to build. And I don't say that just as like an exaggeration. No, the footage actually came out to 24 hours of recording. So again, no exaggeration. So I was like, oh my gosh, well, I hope it doesn't take that long this time. Things sometimes take longer than you expect them to. Again, because I had made some of these pathings a little bit more convoluted, I had to overlap glass in a very convoluted way as well. And I was really starting to get so annoyed with these groups because obviously some pieces were in a group and some pieces were not. Now, here comes to one of our biggest builds that we're going to do yet, in this recording, I should say, because keep in mind, we are doing a voiceover right now, and it's going to go to about 35 minutes, and then I'm going to actually play in-game moments with you. So there were a couple of things that I wanted to tackle first. First of which is to connect these glass pieces so that I could expand the snow leopard exhibit, as well as the cougars, as well as the Eurasian lynx, to their proper length, because obviously I made these so that the concept was that the animals would feel like they're more free to roam and humans are more in captivity, which was kind of the joke. But I really liked the idea of like this little intersection of a glass piece or like a tree just sticking in the middle of that, to which I was like, well, that's not the tree to do it. And then I was like, okay, well, I put this here, then I should probably build the path there. And I'm like, okay, well, then I have to actually remove a little bit of the exhibit in order to connect the path there, to which I said I actually hate that. And also the fact that, now it just wouldn't connect to the path at all. So I'm like, Oh God. So I like tried to rearrange the land a bit because it was looking pretty convoluted and stupid. I'm like, well, that's not working. So I was like, well, what if I change it to a null barrier? No, it doesn't matter if you change to a null barrier. It still's like, no. So what I did is I moved the entrance to the other side while I fixed everything over here. So that came between the land and everything. And I was like, okay, well, while I'm doing this, I might as well actually fix the pathing system so it doesn't look so stupid. So that's what I did, and that is what we're building up here is a proper pathing system, and at least in this area. And then, yes, so okay, of course, because I insisted on having these little light bulbs everywhere, I had to make sure that even if it was on a slight angle, that I had to readjust all of them. And I think it was right about here where the game crashed. Yes, it was right about here, but don't worry because thankfully the game somehow auto-saved. I don't really understand how this G-force thing works sometimes because I think, oh, I didn't save, it's definitely going to destroy everything, and then I reopen it up and I'm like, no. So I don't really know. Maybe their servers hold a certain amount of memory if you're like still connected to the server. I'm not sure, but either way, that was interesting. But again, I know these little bulbs are honestly like, I like them and I don't, because they are flat and it doesn't really make sense compared to all the other lights that are just, you know, they actually have 3 dimension. But they are kind of useful because, you know, you can just stick them on and it looks like a decal, but also like, you know, it'd be nice to have actual lights. So this will come into fruition at some point. Keep that in mind, but I'm not going to say when. And also just fixing everything in this area to make sure that it lines up, which I wasn't so happy about because you'll see in a second, even though I tried to make it as straight as possible, things, of course, because the zoo is imperfect and my blueprint, you know, was imperfect and etc., there were some things that really needed to be readjusted, which it's okay. We figure it out. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm finally ready to let the Eurasian lynx out. So let's expand the glass as far as we can down. So in that way, the Eurasian lynx, as well as the snow leopard, cannot escape from this area. So that was kind of my results. And then obviously we go into the cave from here, right? So again, we're going back into making sure everything's covered up so that the pathing system is nicely covered up as well. So the guests have no chance of animals being anywhere near them, which would be scary. But I think it was in here somewhere where I put a bunch of pieces down and I really didn't like how they were lining up. It didn't matter, like, because at one angle it was straight and then another angle it wasn't. Oh yeah, I think one of the animals escaped as well, so I had to go back and fix that. But yes, so there were some things I had to kind of work around, and then I was like, okay, well now I can finally expand the snow leopard exhibit so that they can run a little bit more freely, to which I try to cover up with these ice pieces, and I put them down and I was like, oh, I'll fix them later, you know, theme of this zoo. But I think they end up escaping from that, so that didn't help. And then obviously I tried to, yeah, this was the cougar exhibit, tried to make sure that the cougars couldn't escape either. Oh yeah, and then these little pieces obviously sticking out, and I was like, okay, well, and then like some of these like really bad cliff sides, I was like, okay, well, what if we just fill in the space with rocks and ice, because that will actually make sense. The pronghorn antelopes, man, those dudes are always fighting for alpha status. Like, I didn't know they were so aggressive. Anyways, so yes, I think right about here, I start putting these glass pieces down, and I'm like, why is it? Because I tried to make it as, you know, organized as possible so that all the glass pieces kind of connect. But as I put one down here and kind of, I think what I did is I was like, okay, well, I'll use the middle piece as a base to kind of follow. A base to follow so that all the other glass pieces kind of fall in line with each other. Oh, I guess I also wanted to reorganize some of these pieces over here. Oh, yes, so that the Eurasian lynx could roam free. So I think that's what it was. Because I was like, oh, well, I could go over here and over there. You know, my very scattered brain way of building this zoo, which has been a theme lately. I think what happens if you bite more off than you can chew, you end up being overwhelmed by the amount of side things that you've never finished in the first place. So I was like, okay, well, first thing is I'll line these glass pieces up with the middle, to which then I realized, well, the middle's not straight. Okay, so I'll straighten the middle, and then I'll base the other glass pieces based on that middle piece, and then we'll kind of spread out from those pieces by duplicating and moving them that way. I think that was my first solution to this problem. Kind of just spreading it out from that direction, and that kind of solved the problem. I wasn't really happy with it, but I was like, well, it could be worse. And then I had full intention to come back and put the tree in the middle, to which I never did, but we'll see why. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'd like to work on something else, because, I want to spread out my mind a bit. Sometimes when I'm painting or whatever I'm creating, I need like a little bit of space to work on something else. So one of the things I didn't like was the way the cougar entrance for the keeper looked. I didn't like how it was just there. So I bought these cave pieces, or didn't buy them. I downloaded them from the workshop, because I was like, and then I yawned. Because I thought it would make sense to have cave pieces finally within all these caves that I have nothing going on with. And I realized that some of these you couldn't edit the colors because they had water features in them. And because there is more than just rocks in there, it wasn't the same type of mechanism. So therefore you can't. Now, of course, my cougars are escaping because I didn't close their exhibit properly. So here they are just running out. I'm like, oh my God, like, oops, those things are aggressive. But yeah, basically, if you wanted to color these, you'd have to take the water features out, to which I only found one. And then I was like, is this really worth it? Not really. So I think I just kind of let them be. But these ones, I could actually change the color, and I kept them in an area so that I knew they could all match each other's colors. And I actually went to Google and checked what the rock colors should be at, like the exact one. So I kind of adjusted based on that. And then I was like, okay, now we're going to give a little bit more attention to detail to the cougar's cave. So I straightened out the glass. I painted everything so it made a little bit more sense. I was like, yeah, so this is me typing in the specific colors of the cave that were proper, and that kind of made a little bit more sense. And here I am being like, okay, let's fix this entrance piece. Actually, I think maybe before that I figured out I probably should fix like the indoor glass piece for the cave. So this was me trying to figure it out so that, I don't take away their water amount, and that it's close enough to the guests so that they have like a decent look if the animals decide to go in the water, which I don't know if they ever did. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll close off these pieces with some, some cave pieces, get rid of this pillar here that I never really liked in the first place, and I put it there. And this, I think, looked a lot more attractive, looked a lot more realistic. I pulled out the cave top a little bit more so that it looked a little bit less rough. And yeah, so this is where I'm like, okay, I'm going to rebuild the cave entrance. In fact, I'm probably going to just rebuild this entire thing. I was like, okay, well, what if I pull it in, kind of like what I did, where the square box, and then I put the keeper exhibit. Now, I don't remember why I didn't do this. I think it was just because I just thought I didn't like it. I would like it closer to the cave, if anything, or I would like it, somewhere else. So I think I started doing it, and then I think I was just like, no, let's not do this. I don't want to. And also I think I have to end up redoing the entire path in this area because of it as well. Because based on where I want to put it, the pathing system won't let me because of the elevation level. So I was like, okay, well, what could I put it? Maybe I can put it under the bridge of the train. So that was my thought. Oh boy, we're about to take a whole nother rabbit trail because, oh my gosh. So the problem was with this idea wasn't necessarily that the door wouldn't be placed there. It was that the pathing system didn't want to be placed that close to another pathing system. So I was like, okay, well, I can just put it here and the keepers can just walk underneath. And that will be how we kind of discrete this. No, because again, the pathing system didn't like that. So I was like, okay, well, what if we do it over here? And we built a downward functioning cave. And actually, I probably should put down some keeper areas down here. So I was like, okay, well, let's block off this area because I hate the idea of the keepers just kind of existing and not putting down like a cover. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put down some of these rock pieces in this area to block off this section of the cave so the keepers can go down here. So this is me like putting down this. Honestly, this piece is great. The builder, whoever made this, I have no idea who it is, but like shout out to you because these pieces are amazing. Unfortunately, they don't stay long, which you'll see why. But this was kind of my solution to make sure that, you know, the area where the keepers can go is kind of a little bit more blocked off. Now, I don't know what made me come back and be like, oh, I need to do it this way. But I think what it was is I wanted to build the cave so that it was a little bit less crappy because I've not been happy the way I've been doing the caves. This is what I normally do, and I think I decided I'm not doing it this way anymore. So I started doing it a different way. So I was like, okay, well, we'll have the path go this way, and then I can connect. And I was trying to figure out how to get to under the bridge area from this area, because again, I have no recollection of where I'm going. So this was me building up a whole worker area with water treatment plants, electricity, keeper hut, veterinarian, even a trade center, I think, over here as well. And then that way things can be kept together. And I was like, okay, well, I've been watching a lot of videos at this point about building up path systems. And I was like, okay, so the problem is with me having issues with the grid pathing system is you're supposed to do it one at a time. You don't keep building like a whole bunch of different pieces all together. You do them individually. So here is me trying to finally build the keeper gate to the cougar exhibit again, because I really didn't like how it looked prior. And I think this took several hours, if I remember correctly. I wasn't happy with it, but at least we kind of finally got through kind of thing. But basically, the reason why I wouldn't go that way was because of the closeness to the bridge above, and also due to the fact that it was on an elevation. So I had to like see if you can see, even though they're right there, they're not connecting, even though the pathing system is there. I think it's simply just because of the pathing system wouldn't allow a keeper gate under a bridge, which I thought was very strange. So I was like, okay, well, what if I build a entrance to the keeper exhibit this way, so that way it doesn't feel so far for the exhibits to go. So I was like, okay, well, maybe we can finally use, oh yeah, the animals are all over our, you know, struggling. Like all my Titan beetles died. I can't even believe it. They all died. So I think this was me being like, this is how I'm gonna finally do caves. I'm gonna do them properly. Oh yeah, I started getting so many notifications for inbreeding. Man, these animals, dude. So I was like, okay, well, I gotta deal with some management because my poor babies. But anyways, I think I had been watching a lot of Planet Zoo videos and tutorials and stuff, and a lot of people showed how they were building caves or latrines or whatever it was for their zoo using those terrain stamp tools, to which I thought, okay, let me take a whack at it, because I haven't been happy the way the things have been looking. So I think if I attack it this way, then perhaps we'll start to finally see what I would really like it to look like versus what I'm doing, which is the wrong way. Or I guess there isn't technically a wrong way, because this is a game and you can do this however you want. But there were objectively things I would like, you know, to be better. And I think it was right about here where I started feeling the game glitching, like just slowing down. And I was like starting to get a little annoyed, because I'm like, how am I supposed to play this game? if it's like this slow? Like, what do you mean? And then I was like, okay, well, to be fair, like, I have put a lot in this zoo, and especially when I'm, now carving out a whole bunch of pieces of cave. So this is, I think, how I figured out how I could finally, no, I'm wrong again. So actually, what I end up doing doesn't work, and I think we will see it in a bit that it doesn't actually work, but we'll see. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll make a nice elevation area from here to the pathing system, pull out the bridge a little bit more, and then it'll connect. No, it refused to connect. I was like, I don't get it, because I can put the gate down and I can put the path system down, but I can't connect them. So I was like, okay, well, what if I pull the gate entrance further under the bridge? Okay, what if I have it over here and we build a pathing, like an indoor path from the gate into the entrance of the zoo? And I think what I ended up doing is I put a false door under the bridge so that the animals could still have the keeper come in and everything. I don't even know why I spotted this, but I started spotting that, and I started getting notifications about litter, and I was like, of course, right? And then I'm like looking at my animals, checking in on everybody, just kind of hovering and seeing what's going on. So yeah, I think what I did is I built this false door here. I think I started putting in the glass, and then I was like, what am I doing? I can't. That's not what I know. Like, I had to get rid of it, because how else are my animals able to get into the zoo? So then I put this down, which is what I've been using for every other exhibit to bring in like the keeper entrance. And then I put out a nice pathing area, a ramp, I should say, that would lead into the exhibit. And then I realized, wow, I really ruined the cave over here for some reason. So I had to fix all of that. I don't even know when that happened. Maybe it was between me trying to build the entrance or the cave. I don't know. But either way, for some reason, this area was messed up. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll bring all the bushes back in and, save and all that. So this is me getting ready to finish up, putting the door down. And this didn't work. I had an idea, and I'm sure seasoned Planet Zoo people would understand exactly why this didn't work, but it didn't. I tried. No. So, I think we do end up doing something else. I think. I can't remember exactly. But either way, I was like, okay, well, this was supposed to be like the entranceway into the zoo, and then that way the keepers can walk through, check on the animals, feed them, etc. So annoying it didn't work, but anyway, who cares? Oh yes, and then I was like, okay, well, I need to go in and fix the cave, because I basically bulldozed like half the stuff just so that I could make this work. So this is me like going back in and bringing up the cave levels all back to normal, trying to close those holes, etc, etc. Right, and so then this is me like, okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna build up this area, and we're gonna make the pathing system lead into this cave. To which I think what I did is I went over and I put smoothing on. That's right, because I realized the mountains were not smooth, and they still looked like just a bunch of hovering pyramids. And then I needed to put them into the work zone. Okay, so now we are done the cougar exhibit, kind of. Of course, our animals are struggling. It's starting to get cold, and they're all just living on a patch of grass because... To be fair, I meant to have this game just permanently pause until I figured this out. It didn't work. Honestly, that was straight up my bad. Oh yeah, and then this was me putting in lights so that, I really wanted our keepers to actually see things in the cave instead of, just walking to their depth of doom because they can't see anything, So I think what I do here, yes, that's right. So here I was like, okay, I need to build this area because otherwise people aren't going to come in this cave. They're not going to be interested. So put a bunch of food stalls. I put 2 exhibits down, I think. One for the American bullfrog and one for I don't remember. I'm going to have to check. We will see in a second. But I thought, okay, this is a perfect time. Let's build up this cave. We'll give it a little bit more of attraction, and I think I do glass out that area as well. And I was like, okay, well, we're also going to, go back with our ice castle theme, and place things in properly. And it wasn't a bad area, actually. This area is not that bad, especially since I think I kept all those pieces on the grid, so all the pathing systems actually lined up. And then I wanted to make sure that, the pieces actually just didn't have a bunch of blank walls, because, I was really sick and tired of those vending machines. I'm so over it, And then I tried to keep them on the same, when you duplicate move over grid, but none of them are on the same group, so of course they didn't fit. So now I'm putting down the glass pieces to lead people over to this cave, because if it's cold, they're not gonna come over here. So I really wanted to just build up this area to get them to come into the cave so that they could look at the cougars. To which there isn't power over here, just saying. So get people to come in a dark, dingy cave with no power. So which I was like, okay, I'll deal with that in a second. But either way, I build up this cave. Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to have the glass pieces in the cave, but I thought just because of certain areas, maybe I would. And then this is me cutting off some of the areas of the cave that were uneven or didn't make any sense. Because again, I want to fix the cave. So I think we're going in now with the Eurasian lynx. I think it kind of makes sense. We're hanging around this cave, we're building up the null barrier, so it must be the Eurasian lynx. So I took a quick break there, and then I got back into fixing the glass pieces for the Eurasian lynx, to which we expand the null barriers so they have a little bit more space, a little bit more play area, and yes. And so then here I built out their gate. I didn't do anything different with them. I think I did consider here destroying the entire pathing system, and I think I actually do, because it wasn't lining up the way it should have. But I think I kind of was like, oh yeah, right about here, I was like, oh, and I'm like, okay, never mind, that was a mess, let's never do that again. So I was like, okay, I'll just put the path here and then cover it, even though I didn't like that. I was like, I don't like this, I don't like the way it's sitting. I could go back in and fix that, but that sounds like a bigger headache that I don't even know if I want. And I think I was starting to feel annoyed at this point based on like a couple of things. Like, first of all, the cave and everything, which we start getting so many notifications for the cougars. And I was like, okay, well, I should probably go in and change the food quality of the animal. So I'm like, okay, I think there were also a couple of holes in the exhibit of where the cougars were, that they could jump over. So I had to go in and fix that. And I'm getting notifications that they're unhappy. I'm like, why are you unhappy? What's going on, kind of thing. I'm like, there's plenty of space here. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's the terrain or whatever. And I'm going back in to fix the Eurasian lynx and the snow leopards and everything, because I think the snow leopards actually did escape at that point, so I had to fix their area so that they couldn't escape anymore. And yes, here it is. So what the keepers would do, because the gate was so further down under the bridge, the keepers would drop them off right at the gate door, to which only kept them in that pathway under the bridge and not in their actual exhibit. And I was like, okay, well then maybe I just manually move them. But then it kept being like that every 3 seconds, where I had to move them from under the bridge to their exhibit. And I was like, this is so undoable. Like, the amount of frustration I'm gonna have permanently from these animals just constantly being stuck in the path system. So I think it happened like 3 times. Anyway, I'm trying to, obviously I need to work on better work zones. I was like, these work zones are not working for me. Yes, see, the animals are stuck again. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we could figure out a way to get them unstuck. And then obviously their food feeder as well was not getting reached because it wasn't considered by the keeper to actually move there. So I had to, oh my gosh, it was such a headache, dude. It was such a headache. So I had to try to fix the barrier so that the keeper could actually get to the exhibit without all this nonsense. So I was like, okay, well, maybe we put it over here. And then I was like, okay, well, what if, you know what, never mind. Now we know my new little trick, the whole flatten to surface and all that, which to be fair, I already knew about flatten to surface, but all the other curves and stuff, I'm like, maybe we can finally fix where the heck we're gonna put our frickin' gate, because I can't stand the idea of those poor little cubs being stuck in the path system because the keepers are stupid. So this is me trying to fix the barrier so that they reconnect. That was 10 out of 10. Do not recommend. I think we finally fixed it though. I think. And then I had to make sure that the animals could actually get through, and yes, there it is. The gate finally connected. I was like, this is so stupid. Why did it have to be such a dumb curve like that? Just so I could, anyway. I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. It works now, you know. And then I think, do I go back in somewhere? I go in somewhere at some point. Yes, so here we are in the cave. And I realized, I was like, well, I need to reorganize my staff, because I realized they're not in work zones. Like, there's so many that are not in work zones. So I was like, okay, gotta admit, reorganize, do proper management, because, you know, whatever. But the water treatment plant in the cave, for some reason, will refuse to work. It just won't work. It doesn't matter what I do. It's just not happening. And then I think I did buy a butterfly and then totally forgot, oh yeah, they don't fit in regular exhibits, so I have to buy a different animal. So we buy an American bullfrog. Oh yes, and the turtle. That's what we buy. And I'm like, okay, hopefully this will bring more guests into the caves, because I've just put a whole bunch of effort in this cave, and if nobody shows up, I'm gonna lose my mind. And at this point, I think I start questioning the reality of everything in front of me. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Do I like that? Do I not? Like, I was starting to, you know, ask myself, like, all the questions. But, you know, how we do sometimes. So, in a couple of minutes, I will be stopping this time lapse, and I will be talking to you live from the game. And we will proceed further from that. But for now, we're just kind of looking over the zoo, trying to fix some things, maneuver things to be a little bit more straight, and making sure that the guests don't walk over paths, to which I realize I also failed on the pathing system, which, to be fair, I always knew I failed on the pathing system. I just wanted to pretend it didn't matter. Oh, it mattered. And I realized how much it would matter to me as well. So I'm going to leave you here. And you're just going to watch the rest of this time lapse by yourself. And then we're going to meet again in like 3 seconds. Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward while I talk to you about what I would like to talk about right now. And the reason why I'm doing this is because more money. Simply put, we need some money. So I'm just gonna do this and then zoom right out, because get me out, basically. You know how many animals are probably gonna die? We should probably also, vet research is complete. Water treatment failed. I did request it to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. Gosh, everything needs to be fixed. It's so annoying. Polar bears. Nice. Okay. Quarantine has passed on our animal. Okay, let's slow it down for a second. It's gotta move. Nope, actually, there is something I want to do. We're gonna send that animal to the storage. Ah! Not our doll sheep! Sorry, Devon. That's sad. That's fine. We'll deal with that in a second. Alright, now that we've gone through all of that, let's say hi to all of our visitors, and then I will finally say what I want to say. Someone named Sativa. Savage Christmas. Hello. Bumka. Bumka. Or in a sense. One of the funny names. Event research is complete again. What are all our mechanics doing? Like, for real. Oh, you know what? We already got all this. I totally forgot. Well, then, yeah, what are they doing? Why aren't they fixing the transformer? Okay, well, what doesn't really matter, I guess. So, there is a reason why it doesn't really matter. I have decided that we are going to completely level this zoo and start all over. Now, the reason why I think we should be doing this is because, there's some things about this zoo I don't like. And it's more than just, I don't like it, so let's just throw the whole thing out. It's more also like, certain animals haven't gotten any attention at all. Which, to be fair, that was kind of my decision when I decided to throw them all in the zoo. But also, though, I didn't plan this out. And it's not to say that you should plan out where you're going to make a zoo. You just make a zoo. Like, that's the whole point. But I think what has kind of thrown me off is because I didn't... Oh, God. We don't want inbreeding. Although they probably already inbred at this point. Especially since that was a... Yeah, you're pregnant. No! Your bastard baby. Okay, well, we're gonna turn you on contraceptives. Sudden oopsies. An animal has died. Which one? Changli. Changli? No! Sue is also inbreeding! Stop it, Sue! You're also on contraceptives now. That's disgusting. Stop inbreeding! Dear God. Oh, that's the dead animal. I was like, what am I looking at? Wow, okay, great. You mean the inbred baby? One of the reasons why I wanted to just destroy and start all over is this glitching, for one. This has gotten pretty bad. I think it's because there is a lot of overlap in the glass sections that are not necessary, but it's because I didn't properly figure out the... How many animals have just died? Okay, just one. Oh, wait, no. So, grasslands... Multiple animals have low welfare and the petting zoo. Oh, it's because it's cold. Actually, I might need to pause for a second. Just so I can get these thoughts out. Okay, so first of all, I hate how this looks. This was not even our original plan. In fact, I never even liked being on this grid in the first place. I did want to move it down. And I told myself I'd move it down when I had more money. But it never ended up happening because then I ended up putting this igloo down, which would have been harder to move because it just simply was... way too misjointed to then also moving all of these already standard ones down. Like I put this down here and I didn't want to move that because I was like, oh, well, this is like the main like entrance way and whatever. So there were so many reasons why I didn't do stuff and I regret it. I regret a lot in this gym. Huh? Not gonna lie. I'm gonna turn this down so I can actually hear myself and I'm not yelling in the microphone. But I originally liked this igloo. I do not like it anymore. It really makes me annoyed, honestly. Not like to a point where I'm sleeping less at night, but I'm just not a huge fan of the way it looks. I never liked how crooked it was, and I didn't realize it wasn't I didn't realize it was crooked until after I made it, and then it made it really hard to add any proper glass pieces. So even when I tried to make the glass pieces, I just ended up downloading someone else's dome and then reusing that, which is not a bad thing. And then I put all these houses down thinking I was going to refurbish them in a proper like North American style, where this is more Nordic, and I never did. I told myself I'd fix everything over here when I got to it. Never did. I wanted to make a better food court. Never did. And now people are always stuck over here and there's always too much litter. There's just so many things about this place that I wish I did differently. In fact, the pathing system is probably one of my biggest regrets. That's partly because I didn't know that. But keep in mind, though, I'm not like angry or anything at myself for this, because I also know that the reason why I did certain things the way I did is because I just didn't know how to do it yet. So as much as I might be frustrated, I also recognize that on some level, I'm also kind of proud of all the work I put in. But you can also be proud to move on, I think is a good way of saying that. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to press play. And we're going to probably see all our animals die. Not going to lie. And look how that CPU just starts stuttering when I move. I stop moving so that everything else can move. I also would like to move the transit around because it doesn't make any sense. See, look at all these glitches. We need to fix this. Also, like, I originally wanted the penguin exhibit over here, like in the entrance, that you would walk through the penguin exhibit. Or maybe even not the penguin exhibit, but either the reindeer. I remember specifically saying I either wanted it the reindeer exhibit, or you would walk through the penguin exhibit. And it didn't end up happening. So there were a bunch of things that just I kind of gave up on, didn't end up doing. And that is the story of my life. But I am actually trying to change this in my life. I am trying to slow down. I am trying to make decisions that make me happier. Even if it takes longer to do it, I'm going to be more intentional about it in my life, including, what's wrong, Winter? Oh, there's low welfare. There's probably one too many raccoons in here. Excuse me. Oh yeah, there's so many raccoons in here. Oh my god. Okay, well, if you're on contraceptives, you're probably not supposed to be in here. You're using contraceptives and you're an outsider. All right, let's send you all to the trade center. Yeah, and that'll make you guys much happier, which is good. Although it might be also space. It might also be some of the other animals might be overcrowding this space. See, here's also a thing, is as much as I was very proud of some of these things, like, this is cute, right? But also, though, you know, I'd like to do something else. I'd like to change some things. You know what? I would like it so that my Transformers and everything else aren't sitting just in squares. That's what I would like. I would like to have a consistent theme because I originally had the idea to do a Whoville theme. Never did that. It's just, it's like a bunch of things I should have done that I never did. I think we get to 80 grand, we'll be fine. Oh no. That's not good. Probably already injured, to be fair. But look, like, we have these beautiful bears. Nobody's even visiting them because I'm taking too long. Like, I don't know. I know, like, this is why you don't bite off more than you can chew, simply put. I think also the game just stopped doing stuff in general because I just filled too much in this game. And I think also if you make, I could be wrong about this, but I wonder if you make the exhibits too big, how much CPU that also takes up. So I don't know. I think there's just a bunch of things that I did wrong about this. An animal has died. Which one? Oh, 2 animals have died. So Akuna and Winter. Definitely gonna see some of these babies die off. But I'm gonna move them all into the storage center anyway, once we have more wealth. So then at that point, we can just go through, get rid of certain things. I also think that maybe I just have one too many staff. Honestly, I think that's possibly what's going on as well, why certain things are not getting done. I need to set up proper work zones, because I have not. I think there's just so many things that is not happening because I don't know, I rushed. I think I was rushing. That's what I think. You're dead, and Tortoise is dead. We'll just get these things going so at least we're getting economy going. Now every animal that could be getting pregnant will not be getting pregnant, and we're gonna see a lot of deaths and a lot less breeding for sure. Not too worried about that. We just need to get some money. I think I'm gonna go for 800,000. Go with that. We may even take out a loan if that's necessary. Is this the one that's still... No, this one will. And will you ever get fixed? See, I think, also I wonder on some level if things are just not getting fixed because of the slow function of everything. So yes, what I was trying to say was, what happened was I started hovering over the cougar section while I was editing. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. Like, it doesn't look good. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. And then I started looking at the lynx area. Felt the same way. Started feeling that way about the polar bear area. Now, to be fair, some of these exhibits are just unfinished. But then I started looking at the ones that were finished, and I was like, yeah, I didn't like the way I did the Arctic fox. I don't like the way I did this or that or whatever. And I think I just came to the conclusion it would just be much easier to just start all over. So that's why. But you know what? When I started playing this game, I just had, you know, like only a couple of hours in this game. I hadn't actually done the amount of work that I've done. Like, we're what, 17, 18 episodes in now? And some of these like videos I've made have been many hours. One of them was like 24 hours of recording. Like, it's stuff that I've worked at. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. And you know, sometimes even like the painting behind me, sometimes you just come back to it later and you're like, oh, you know what, kind of actually makes sense. Vending machine is broken down. Classic. See, they're very useful because it feeds people, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I want as many down in the future. Those are kind of annoying. I feel like half of the time is just spent fixing them. So we're gonna try to build more, I'd say. Build more food shops so that we don't have to put as many vending machines in, because those are so annoying. Oh, we're there. Okay. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to our animals. We're gonna select them all. And we're gonna send them all to Trade Center. Alright, let's go over to management. We are now closed. Everybody get the frick out. And now that we've done all that, it's time to level everything. Delete it all. Alright. Height and size. Nature construction. Do. Yup. Oh, I forgot you get money from deleting stuff. The game's like, holy crap, what's going on right now? We made $1 million just from deleting the entire zoo. Let's fire half of our staff. Okay. So we need one vet per 4 to 5 animals. Now, how many animals do we have? I actually think that we just need 4 because, yeah, so we're actually gonna fire you. Yeah, sorry. And we have a total of, how many species? I wish it just told me a total, you know? So we have 31 animals, but you may only need 1 keeper per big exhibit, which we've had 2 large exhibits. So we'd only need a total of 29 keepers. But I think if we, you know, raise their wages, it might be okay. So let's keep that in mind. We have so many educators. Let's get rid of some of these low paid ones. Okay, there we go. We need a lot more mechanics, I think. Actually, you guys are all... No, I definitely think we need more. Okay, we'll get another one. In terms of these guys, I feel like we have a lot of low workload ones. Probably not worth it. So actually, let's save our zoo. Come back in a second. Okay, so we are back again. I really wish I could just like... Boop. Okay, there we go. I was like, I hate that. Let's delete this path. I can't delete the path? Okay, that's fine. I find it's very strange I can't delete this path. Oh, I guess it's because it's connected to a guest spawner. That's why. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I think we have the really crappy graphics on. Yes. They just really love always starting me with the really bad graphics. Okay, so here's what we're going to have to do, unfortunately, is actually fill in half of these caves. We probably shouldn't do that until... Actually, we could just do a blueprint, I think. So let's say we want to make that into a blueprint. New blueprint, which is a lie. We're going to turn this to 12. Great, now we can see. Although everything is snowy, it's very bright. Knew there would be items. Is that... Yeah, it's one of our workers. Oh, they're trying to get to the dead animal over here. Wish there was a way to, like, go faster, you know? This must be the polar bear space. Or was, anyway. It's not gonna be anymore, that's for sure. Oh no! That might have been actually the seals. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, wait. Did I go the wrong way? No, actually I was... Oh, dang it. I hate when that happens. Okay, so we need to fill in these gaps. It's like Inception. All the workers are gonna be stuck in here. I wish there was an easier way of knowing if you filled in all the spots or not, you know? There's that one over there. And there's a couple here, it looks like. Is that a rock? That's a rock. Yeah, I guess it didn't want to delete because of these things here. We'll deal with that in a second. Beep, 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 boop, 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 boop. Yeah, it doesn't wanna get rid of caves. If there's still something inside the cave. I think there's this stuff to get rid of. There might be something over here even. Oh, no, there's something in here. This must have been the Arctic Wolves exhibit, I think. No, ew. Okay, flatten the foundation. Definitely starting to see that stuff we're trying to get rid of. It was stuck in the mountain. That's why we can get it out. Now, a lot of this, I guess we're just gonna rebuild, but like, whatever. Oh, what's this? Is that our dead animal? Oh, it's a path. That's not what I wanted at all. Let's see if we can get rid of some of the stuff we don't want. Stuff that we should definitely be selling. These are all our workers. I was like, why can't I get that? Okay, now that we've done that, we are actually gonna flatten to proper foundation, so it'll be this way. Because we are on the tundra. The tundra is very flat. This actually kind of feels nice. Just leveling everything. Now, I wonder. There was something I downloaded. I wanted to see what it looked like. Oh, it's apparently a guest spawner. I think we could, like, add some glass on it, sorry? Glass. I mean... some... Jeez, what do I mean? Actually, I want to make sure that this is straight, because it's not. I wish there was a way to make my camera on the axis, which I'm sure there is, but I don't know how. We could do it this way. You know what, though? We should have moved that down. I want to see what we have for ice pieces. Because now we have a guest thing. We don't need that no more. Well, I actually don't know if we're going to stick with the Stargate, but for a joke, I wanted to see how that would play out. I wonder if everyone's going to be behind the Stargate now. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Oh, they're facing that way. Yeah, because they should be going that way. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to stick with this, but I thought it would be funny to, like, pull it out and look at it. There is clearly a lot that we need to do. So keep this in mind, because even though I've just deleted all this, doesn't mean I'm going to start powing down every day and posting every 3 days, because that's a lot of work. I've got a bunch of other videos to work on. I'm actually going to keep this more of a low-key pace. Not to say that this won't be coming out. I'm still going to be trying to keep this as frequent as possible. But I am going to try to focus all my energy for the next little bit on making proper blueprints, figuring out how to properly set up the path system. But there's just a lot of things I want to work on first before I think before the amount of content that maybe you're hoping for will come out. Not to say that it won't come out. It's just that basically just be aware that I may not be posting this as frequent as I was trying to with the other ones, because this time I'm going to try to put a lot of more attention to detail and try to take time with things. So in that way it actually plays out more properly. And hopefully it'll have a better outcome. Obviously this Stargate's kind of funny. I don't know if I'll keep it though. Honestly, I might just see if there's like a plane or something and maybe use a plane, because I feel like a plane would be a good idea. Anyways, keep in mind that I'm going to try to do a little bit better on making better blueprints, on organizing things, making the map a little bit more organized, and actually taking care of the animals in a little bit better of a fashion. I'm just gonna see where this takes us, and honestly I'm kind of excited to start all over again, because there's so much opportunity to remake this place. Although it's so bright, I think I'm just gonna have it play out its proper time. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sarah. I am the host of Sarah's Spare Corner. Sarah's Spare Corner encompasses gaming as well as arts, crafts, and various different forms of creativity. Additionally, I like sharing theories, concepts, and ideas, as I am a philosophy major, and when I'm not bored, I might travel places and I might post about it. Please be patient with me as I figure out where I want to go with this series and what kind of things I want to design for this. So again, thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye now.